Perhaps the most complicated game from round 7 at the FIDE Chess.com Grand Swiss on the Isle of Man that didn't get a ton of love from the official broadcast was the one right here between Chinese Grandmaster Zhang and Egyptian Grandmaster Bassam Amin. Now, this game is really messy. Full disclosure, there's a lot of analysis over at my blog. Probably not all of those variations will make it into this video that's designed to be broadcast during the live show. But regardless of whether you check out all those variations, I think we're going to learn something from how Zhang handles this mess in this game. And buckle up, because here we go. In this very, very getting set to be complicated position, Black plays the move b4. Now, this move makes sense because you're attacking the knight. If this guy moves, you'll trade what was previously your doubled f-pawns and hopefully bust through with c5. Now, why is c5 such an important structural breakthrough? Well, when you have a Yaroslav type of structure, you have this Moran kind of advance in the queen's gambit decline on the queen side. You really, really need this move c5 to eventually liberate this bishop. So you're looking for all the tactical opportunities to do it. The problem is that b4 never had the intention of going for normal roads that would let you take and open up. Zhang played the move e takes f5, sacrificing the knight. Now, the key point of the tactic is that when the knight is captured, white takes g6, and you can't just keep capturing to safeguard your king on g8 because this pawn is pinned. Even the Chess.com bugs can show you that. Can't take the pawn because of the bishop. So with that in mind, Black had to find another resource. Well, what to do sometimes when you're under pressure? Go back to the basic principles that you know normally help the structure of the position you're in. He played c5. He's opening up this bishop, makes sense. White trades on e7, plays rook e1, and after queen f6, we get really White's probably only real devastating chance to put the game away by force. In this position, Zhang could have taken on f7 with the bishop. The reason this is better is because after rook takes f7, e takes f7 in this endgame, queen takes c3, the position's going to open up enough that the rook will definitely be the most important piece, and this king is too weak. If you don't sacrifice the exchange with something like king g7, White has rook e6, and eventually this diagonal becomes a serious problem. So this is probably what Zhang should have done. But he took on f7 with the pawn, and after king h8, queen c3, we saw knight d7, rook e8. Here comes the knight to e5, as I was about to say. And after queen to g5, we get to see Zhang put away the game in a crazy fashion that probably wasn't the best. If we're talking the Indian best, though, this is a very non-human move I'm about to throw at you that I spent a lot of time questioning and eventually came around to realizing what the Indian was teaching me. The move g4 is actually the best move. Get your g4 emotes out if you're watching this live on Twitch. The whole point is that you actually allow your back rank more freedom, and you call Black's bluff in the sense that you let them take e5 and even win a pawn with check. A pawn that's captured with check that opens your own king, normally not something human beings want to do. But after queen g3, we see that d1 isn't possible. You don't have time for the mating battery. That's the key, because things like queen to g8 are lights out after we take and get a queen. That's checkmate if you're keeping track. If the queens have to come off the board, the main improvement to this and what Zhang had in the game is that after the trade and things like king g7, we immediately have not the move e6, but f4. Trapping the bishop on h6 and leaving Black completely frozen. A very, very complicated line and idea that I'm only showing to highlight, just as I said, how much of a mess this position was, and maybe give another shameless shout out to my blog over at Chess.com, which you can check out. But Zhang played the move d5. Now, d5 is a good move in the sense that we want our passed pawns to run. We want them to always be honey badgers. Move up the board, take what they want, how they want, and don't apologize. But the key is that after knight takes e5, rook takes e5, if Black had found the move queen to c1 check, in these variations, Black is actually picking up this pawn and often coming back to the critical diagonals to guard the rook on f8, whether that's this diagonal or this diagonal, just in time. Again, those variations are very messy, and you can see them at the blog. But in the end, White is still better, but lacking a very, very clear knockout. In the game, White got that knockout because Bassam Amin played the move queen f6. And the big difference was that now on rook e7, the queen, of course, is pinned. You can't take there, right? In this position, the extra pawn ended up proving key for White because after bishop to c8, d6, bishop f5, things like bishop to g5, for example, wouldn't work because actually a fun move h3, where if you take, you give me two passed pawns on the 7th rank. So bishop f5, and now the move d7 comes, c4, d8 queen, and then rook to e8. the last several moves, if we're really talking about pass pawns that must be pushed and take what they want, we look at positions pretty much starting right here with d6, d7, d8, not apologizing, rook e8, and then, of course, black resigned because king g8, king g7 allows f8 queen, blocking your own bishop, and trading doesn't help matters much either. So the key thing about this extra pawn on the c file was that there are positions where if the rook is chased to c7, for example, if black had chosen bishop a8 instead of bishop c8, d6, bishop g5, and now the move rook to c7, the fact that this pawn is going to fall and white's going to have two passers is a big, big change in the game, and one of the reasons that Bassam, Amin missed his chance with queen c1. So super complicated game. Again, check it out. What I learned from this is, one, that chess is hard, chess is messy, but also that in a practical game, you have to find the most forcing variations of pressure on your opponent, especially in time pressure. That's really what Zhang did with the move d5. Even if g4 was better, according to the computer, I think the move d5 and the aggressive push of the d-pawn really put the Egyptian under pressure and ultimately helped Zhang get the full point. So, crazy stuff. Check out the blog. Hope you enjoyed the video. And for those of you watching on social media, I guess we'll remind you, of course, that you can go to the live broadcast. It might even be going right now while you're watching this. Who knows? Figure out who's going to win this event and have a chance to play in the candidates. Anna Rudolph and Danny King have a great call going on right now at Chess.com TV Daily. So thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. Give us a like, share, all that stuff, and we'll see you around on the main site.